Would we actually retire in Thailand? After spending 3.5 months in Thailand and 3 trips, here's our answer. And it actually surprised us too. This last trip was going to be a long vacation, but somewhere along the way, it became much more than that. We started imagining, could we actually live here? Could Thailand become our home for part of the year? Maybe we would retire and move to Thailand. Could we be truly happier in Thailand? Or were we simply experiencing the excitement of being on vacation? Today, I want to answer those questions honestly, not as a traveler influencer trying to sell you a dream, but as ordinary Americans trying to build a life with more freedom, more experiences, and more flexibility, and hopefully a happier retirement. Hey everyone, welcome back to Budget Travel Therapy. If you're new here, my name is KB. My husband and I left the US to travel through Southeast Asia on a slow travel. Most of our time was spent in Thailand. One of the questions we get asked is, so are you moving to Thailand? Because you seem to like Thailand a lot. And the answer is a little bit more complicated than most people expect, because while we absolutely fell in love with many things about Thailand, this was actually not my first trip to Thailand. I've been there 2 other times before, and some were actually several months long. And I have always loved Thailand. My first trip to Thailand was back in 2012, and I spent 3 months there and absolutely loved it. And on this last trip, when I went there with my husband, it was his first time and he loved it. The beauty about Thailand is, of course, the kindness of the people, the sabai lifestyle, the stress-free lifestyle, and just the normalcy of life. It felt like it was normal to walk around on Tuesday afternoon, go into the park, grabbing coffee with a friend, or going to the mall, hang out, going to the movies, and grab a bite at the food court. It just felt life was normal. And it felt like life didn't have to have the hustle, the work, the rush, the stress culture that we're used to back in America. And that's the thing about Thailand that won us over. It wasn't the food, it wasn't the weather, except granted, the food's great, the affordability is amazing, but it's just the lifestyle. I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like, how would you describe the kindness of the Thai people? It's the same thing about living in Thailand is, how would you explain the calmness and the peace that comes from being, I don't know how to explain it, to be honest. And I'm really struggling to put words to describe the Thai people and life in Thailand and how it feels to live in Thailand. Just lifestyle that is peaceful, that feels good, and less pressure, less stress. People are just chill, they're working hard, they're working long hours, but everybody's kind and nice and they sabai about it. And back home, we often felt like life revolved around work, rush hour, bills, stuck in traffic. I mean, Bangkok travel is bad too, but it felt different. It felt peaceful. Nobody's fighting and flipping each other's off in the middle of traffic in Bangkok. There's traffic, but people are not angry. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, would you do me a quick favor, hit that subscribe button and like this video. Every week I share honest experiences and retirement travel tips, real costs, and what my husband and I are learning as we work toward our dream of slow traveling the world and retiring. If that's a journey you would like to follow, I would love to have you along. As much as we love Thailand, there were a few things that made us stop and think, this isn't a paradise. Sometimes YouTubers make you feel like Thailand is perfect. It isn't. No country is. For example, it's hot, it's sticky, it's humid. There's pollution in part of the year. If you don't enjoy warm weather, Thailand might not be your favorite place. Then there's the humidity. During the rainy season, which is when we were there, it was kind of depressing to not see the sun for much of the day after day, it mostly being cloudy and just gray and sad. Now, there were tons of things to do, and we still enjoyed every part of Thailand. The weather wasn't that great during rainy season, and we stayed close to the BTS station and the public transportation, so the rain wasn't much of a problem. It's just, I'm more of a sun person, and I need the sun. It really affects just kind of how you go about your day and how you feel, so we're sun chasers. And so rainy season in Thailand was a little bit rough. And traffic in Bangkok can also be intense, and language is mostly fine in big cities. But on one occasion, when we were traveling on a regional bus, what you call a van, whatever, a small little van with about less than 15 passengers, 16 passengers, you travel between regional cities in Thailand. On the way back to Bangkok, they didn't stop at the big transportation hub. Where we were staying was actually on the way to the final destination. And we thought, hey, we'll just wait until we get off at the station, the main bus terminal. But I didn't know that particular bus went past the main station and continue on going further. When the announcements were all in Thai, the driver was making it in Thai and we couldn't understand it. And we were kind of sitting in the back and we could not understand. Once we got into Bangkok, we opened up our Google Maps, and started tracking where we were. And the only reason we were able to get off before the bus took us further past the main terminal station was we asked, this is the kindness of Thai people. There was a guy a couple seats in front of us in the bus, and he seemed to speak some English. And so we asked him, hey, we're trying to, because on the Google Maps, we saw that we were getting close to where we were staying in the neighborhood. And instead of getting off at the large bus terminal way past our neighborhood we were staying at, why don't we get off closer? But we didn't know how to say it. And the driver was driving and announcing, and it's all in Thai, so we didn't know. So this Thai guy is sitting in a couple of rows in front of us, and he actually heard that we were trying to get some kind of help in English, trying to get off this bus, and asked the driver to stop for us. And so he turned around and started speaking to us in English. And between our Google Translate and his limited English, we finally got through and was able to get off not too far from the place we were staying instead of the large terminal. What we didn't know was the driver on the way to Bangkok was only stopping. He was asking in Thai, making an announcement in Thai, hey, does anybody need to stop at such and such a stop at the next stop? And if nobody spoke up in Thai, he would skip that stop and go to the next stop. And of course, we don't know what he's saying in whatever announcement he's making in Thai, we couldn't tell. So if we hadn't asked, and if that Thai man didn't kindly help us figure out how to ask the driver where to stop for our stop, we would have probably missed the bus terminal as well, and would have just kept riding on that bus past our neighborhood, past the bus terminal, past wherever we might, who knows where we would have ended up. That's another example that the language is not a problem in big cities, but, on a local regional buses and things like that, where people don't speak English, the driver didn't speak English and didn't make an announcement in English, that was a problem. But that Thai man was kind enough to help us to translate to the driver so we can get off at our stop. So language can occasionally be challenging, even though we found people like this Thai man can be incredibly friendly and helpful to foreigners who were struggling. And there were moments where communication took a little patience, and honestly, that's okay. We're in a different country. We don't take anything for granted. So when you're a visitor, you shouldn't expect everyone else to speak your language, and that's just part of the adventure. You're expected to speak their language, not the other way around. What I kept reminding myself was that every place has trade-offs. So even where I live now, sometimes we compare another country's best qualities against our own country's worst. That's not really a fair comparison. Instead, I tried asking, can I actually happily live in this country's trade-offs? For us, many of Thailand's trade-offs were absolutely worth it. One thing we experience almost every day, and that thing made me seriously wonder whether Thailand could become our future home or home base someday. And it wasn't the food, it wasn't the cost of living, actually. And it definitely wasn't the weather, it was something much more important. So what was that one thing that made us seriously consider Thailand as a future base? This is actually hard to explain unless you've experienced it yourself. Back home, it often felt like every day we follow the same pattern. We wake up, we go to work, we run errands, we pay bills, we go home, maybe we watch TV, we work on other stuff, and go to bed. Repeat. And before you know it, months have gone by. But in Thailand, life felt different. Not because we were on vacation, but because life itself felt more enjoyable. We felt like human beings instead of human doings. We walked more. We spent more time outside. Instead of jumping in a car every time we wanted coffee, we simply walked down the street. We need groceries? We walk. Want dinner? We walked. Need a massage? We walked. And wanted to make friends? Take the BTS and connect with other expats, or try to talk to the fruit lady in your broken Thai. Honestly, I didn't realize how much time we spent driving in America until I wasn't doing it anymore. That might sound to you like a small thing, but over weeks and months, it completely changes how your day feels. One afternoon, we decided we were going to spend a day without any plan. No tourist attractions, no schedule, nothing on the agenda, no work, no checklist. We just grabbed coffee, walked through the neighborhood we'd seen before, stopped in a bookstore, browsed a grocery store, always stopped by 7-Eleven or Lawson, of course, had lunch, sat in a park. Later that evening, I realized this was one of my favorite days of the entire trip. Nothing extraordinary, No sightseeing, no tours, no touristy, anything, but just normal life. Life itself was enjoyable, and I could see myself doing it. I could see myself living that life. And that's exactly what retirement should feel like. What surprised me was how incredibly convenient life was and peaceful. The BTS SkyTrain, the MRT, the boat taxis, shopping malls connected directly to the transit stations, air conditioning almost everywhere, food courts, coffee shops, beautiful parks, and modern hospitals. Everything was connected. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, I actually find Bangkok surprisingly easy to live in, especially once we learned how to use public transportation, which is pretty easy to do because everything is in Thai and in English. We didn't miss driving. In fact, I would be scared of driving in Bangkok, whether it's car or motorbike. Most days we were just happy not to have a car. And that was another mindset shift for me. Back home, car feels almost essential. In Bangkok, I often felt it felt unnecessary. And honestly, that sounded pretty appealing. We felt comfortable. Now, no place is perfectly safe. Every city has crime. Every country has areas you should avoid. I'm not saying Thailand is perfect, but I can tell you how we personally felt. We walked at night. We used public transportation, explored neighborhoods, visited shopping malls, walked through parks, and generally we felt comfortable. People were friendly, helpful, respectful. Again, that's simply our experience. Everyone's experience may be different. And most people, retirees and expats, would label Thailand in general as a very safe place to be. I personally never felt unsafe in Thailand, but we also use common sense and good judgment when we're in unfamiliar places. I've never had any bad experience in Thailand been there 3 times, like I said, and I spent varying amounts of time. But I had a close friend of mine. In fact, we were on the same trip in Bangkok years ago. And that day I chose to stay home, but my friend went to the market and just exploring. I didn't feel like going that day. So I stayed home and they went. It was 2 Americans and one Thai who was our Thai friend was showing them around. There was one girl, 2 guys at the market. Someone grabbed my friend, it was a woman, her hand and started grabbing her, and that terrified her. But thankfully, now my Thai friend who was showing them around saw it immediately, walked up to the man and grabbed her and stood up to him, and he ran away. So that's just to say that not every place, even though no matter how safe you would consider it, you should still use common sense and safety precautions in a new place, in a new country, in unfamiliar places, even if it's considered super safe. So, like I said, that happened to my friend, not me, but that shook her up quite a bit. And especially if they can tell you're a tourist, things happen. But in general, I personally never had a problem. This is a secondhand experience that my friend had that I was with at that time. So everyone's experience is different, but it definitely challenged some of the assumptions I had before visiting. So does all of this mean we decide to retire in Thailand? Not quite, because there's still 2 important questions we need to answer first. Questions about family, about healthcare, visas, and whether we actually want to live overseas all year round. Those answers completely shaped our final decision. So after 3.5 months, would we actually retire in Thailand? My honest answer is yes, but probably not the way most people think. Let me explain. We don't think we'd live there 12 months out of the year. When people hear retire in Thailand, they often imagine selling everything, buying a one-way ticket, and never coming back. For us, I don't think that's the dream. At least not right now. Our dream looks a little different. Instead of living in one place forever, we want Thailand to become one of our frequented locations, a place we would come back maybe every year, maybe multiple times a year, maybe spend a few months in Thailand a year, then a few months exploring Japan or some other places, maybe Taiwan, Vietnam, Malaysia, Europe, South America, and perhaps back to the US for holidays or other parts of the year for nice weather. And then maybe during winter, we'll go traveling again. Because one of the reasons we started this journey was curiosity. There's still so many places we want to experience, so many cultures, foods, people, and Thailand doesn't stop us from exploring the world. For now, we just want to continue traveling different parts of the world, exploring, collecting data, and not really tied down to one place. Maybe one day it will change. Maybe one day we will find a place we love and we would want to move there full time. But for right now, as great as Thailand is, we're not choosing to retire there. Before I let you go, I want to leave you with one thought. And sometimes people ask me, what's the best country to retire in? And honestly, I don't think there's one answer. I think there's only the best country for you, your personality, your budget, your lifestyle, your health, your options, your preferences, and your hobbies, and your dreams, your family. And this is why I never want this channel to tell you what to do. Instead, I hope this encourages you to explore what's possible, visit that country, stay for a month or 2 or 3 or however long, try everyday life, see how it feels, because the life you imagine from your couch watching these videos versus the life you experience for yourself is completely different. Our trip to Thailand definitely left a big mark on us, not because it gave us all the answers, but because it gave us permission to ask bigger questions. Questions like, what kind of retirement do we really want? What kind of life makes us happy? And if we only get one retirement, why not build one that excites us? That's the journey we're on. And if you're asking yourself those same questions, I hope you will continue this journey with me. If today's video helped you imagine what retirement in Thailand could look like, then I think you would enjoy this video. Can you retire in Thailand on Social Security alone? In that video, I answer one of the biggest questions Americans have before making the move. And if you're not already subscribed, I would love to have you join the channel so that YouTube can share this video with other retirees who are looking to retire and travel the world within the next 5-10 years. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you don't have to have the whole future figured out to take the first step.